Y'all, we are outside today. Oh my gosh. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Jacob. Welcome back to Sunday Yap Session, the show where every Sunday I hop on here and yap you all about something with some sort of cohesive through line to carry us all through, and sometimes we do better than others. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a like because that helps me out quite a bit. And if you want to come yap with me every single Sunday, be sure to hit that subscribe button because I upload at least once a week, sometimes more. And I did bring a drink your drink. We are going to be sipping on a tangerine LaCroix today. Let's just hop into it. And hopefully the wind noise is not like horrible today. It is pretty windy outside. We're gonna get into that in a minute. I'm also by our road, so we're gonna hope and manifest, everybody manifest in the comments, that the audio in this video is not horrible. So I've actually been wanting to film an episode outside for like several months now. I filmed like a bonus yap outside a while back, and then like I've always been wanting to do that, and then it was like winter time. I was even gonna do it in the winter, but like the weather was bad. Also, just like being perceived like this freaks me out. This is a big act of courage today. And I kind of want to talk about that today, just like fear. Yeah, just like this like fear of being perceived. And yet I am uploading videos every single week, and then TikTok and all of these social media things. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because I am noticing my fear of being perceived limiting the things that I am willing to do. Like something as simple as going out in the middle of the day and filming at a park where like I imagine nobody really cares. I've made it in my head that someone's gonna like come up here and have something to say, or like people are gonna think I'm weird or like questioning what I'm doing and blah, 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 and like letting that be a barrier to like uploading a silly little YouTube video. But like we're at a park, I'm just as entitled to like being out here and doing like literally whatever I want to do, just as like anybody else would be entitled to do that. So like, I don't know why I'm like making this such a big deal. Well, I'm making this a big deal because I don't want people to see me. I don't want to be perceived. I don't want to like be acknowledged making these videos, I guess, or just like being seen. It's like spooky. It's spooky being out here. There are people, I'm like on a very popular like trail in the area that I live in. There are so many people walking by. Even just like coming out here and doing this, I had to like hype myself up for like an hour to do that because I just really like do not like being perceived. And then I upload these little videos, and I think part of me in my mind, I make all these videos and I make them like everybody's going to see them, and then I post them like nobody is going to see it. And like if people end up watching it, like that's a nice bonus, but like I think it's interesting that I'm able to do that. And then this is such a big deal. I think largely like the video uploading isn't as daunting to me because I have like control over it. Like if I don't like a video, not that I've ever really done this, I think everything that I've filmed, at least for this YouTube channel, short form, that's another story. My drafts are thorough. There are so many drafts. For these videos, I do them like all in one take. I like say what I want to say, and like of course I edit it and chop it up to make it sound better, but like these are pretty like stream of consciousness, pretty like authentic to who I am. But yeah, so we're outside today, and this is like such beautiful weather too. I've been wanting to like go outside and enjoy things, but like just with how busy I am and like not prioritizing going outside unless I'm like going on my weekly walk or whatever, I'm usually like not out here doing that much, which is unfortunate. And I'm extra motivated to spend time outside today because there have been like fires all over my state basically, which has been really wild to see because it's not really something I've been like super exposed to personally, but I've been seeing a lot of that in the news, like especially the stuff going on in like California, like LA, the Altadena area, all of that, which has been very like wild and scary to witness. Around here, it's more like tornadoes and like big storms and stuff like that. And so much of it, especially like where I'm at, like it's so normalized and like not a ton of bad stuff usually happens here. At least around the people I know, like no one is typically like gagged by that kind of stuff like that bad. But these like fires have been wild. Like somebody at my work, like their house burned down. And I'm seeing like all of these news reports, like people's houses burning down and like all of this stuff. And it's like, it's crazy. And like we always talk online about like touching grass and things like that. And like, I think like going outside and like enjoying the outside is something I always want to do. But like I always treat it as like, oh, well, it's like always there. I can always do this. Like this isn't something I need to like prioritize. But these like fires and all of this, like really like no, this is not. Like this all might not be here tomorrow. None of this is like entitled. None of this is guaranteed to be here, especially with like the climate change of it all, which like I think is like pretty obviously the direct cause of like a lot of these like wild natural disasters that we're having. It like, at least in the way that I perceive it, a lot more commonplace than they have been in the past. None of this is guaranteed. This park that I'm at could burn down tomorrow, and it could all be burned and charred and like barren, and it could just happen. So I'm trying to like, I don't know, enjoy it while it's here. Try to like enjoy the time outside as much as I can, especially with like the air quality and stuff too. Like, cause the area I'm in like wasn't super affected by these fires all that bad, but like even just like the air, like I can smell it kind of in the air right now. Like it smells like, not so much here, but like down by my apartment, like it smells like burning, and like there was like ash like all over my car and stuff like that, and like dust and like smoke and all of it. Like, I don't know, like it was kind of like a wake up call in a way. Like I'm someone who like enjoys going outside, but I don't do it like nearly as much as I should. And especially especially with like all of this online stuff going on right now. I'm like so motivated to go outside, like especially if you're on TikTok and you're in kind of like the TikTok circles I'm in, or just like all of like the news and things like that. Just like everything and like every aspect of everything that I consume online feels like so heated and so wild right now. And like everybody jokes about like, oh, go touch grass, go touch grass. Like honestly, it does help. Like I would much rather like be out here enjoying this and like sitting online like doom scrolling and consuming stuff that like doesn't make me feel good and just like makes me feel panicked. And like not to say that, like you shouldn't be aware, like I definitely try to stay like tuned into what's happening, but like we talked about in the last episode how like so much of this consumption feels like really passive and like not actually something that like a lot of us are doing with any sort of intention. And especially with all this like internet drama going on, it's like so much of it is like just so pointless too. Like I do not need to be tuned in on like who's beefing with who's like fighting who's spilling tea, blah 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 blah. And like I like it. I like keeping up with these things. Like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I don't like a little mess and a little drama, but like this is so much better. This is so much more like valuable, especially with the weather and stuff going on and things like that. I'm like the internet drama and the internet beef might outlast like our planet. I think we're gonna go to a new location. I think we're gonna switch it up. I kind of want to film in like a bunch of different places today, so we're gonna take a little walk and we're gonna go somewhere else, and then we're gonna talk some more. All right, new location. I also just spilled like half of my drink, so it's almost gone. So we don't have much more to drink, but yeah, I want to get back to this like being perceived thing, because that's like the main reason why I wanted to like come out here. I find it so interesting. Not even just me, because I was thinking about this earlier, and I feel like it was like talking about it in the context of it being a me thing, but I think so much of us feel this way. I think like we all post on social media so much, and it's like, not to be cliched, but like talking about like, oh, we're all like being super curated and blah 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 blah, and like not even like that, because I think that conversation is like worn out and it's tired, and we all get that like the internet is largely curated to varying degrees. People are playing off like parasociality to like sell you products and stuff like that, or like being like so like neutral, which I think is really interesting too. There's been like a lot of like discourse on TikTok lately about like NYC influencers in particular, and about how like they all wear the same clothes, they all go to the same restaurants, doing the same sort of like thing, and like true. But then I think about like, I think there's like a desire for real, and this was kind of like the entire thesis of why I started making these videos. There's a desire for real, but then like when people give it, I think a lot of people like get made fun of, or they get like made to be a joke, or like people say they don't want the curated, they say they want the real, but then they like subscribe to the curated. Like people are complaining about all these like NYC influencers and stuff that are like pushing TikTok shop codes in every single video, and like doing get readies with me was like sponsored skincare and getting gifted clothes and telling you all about it and blah 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 blah. And like true, but also like who's watching it? Like y'all are watching. Maybe not y'all. I don't think my audience is like the NYC like sleek aspirational life influencer crowd. I don't know, maybe you are, let me know below. But like I think there's like an incongruence between what people want and what they actually say they want, because if it's not like the NYC girlies, it's like someone who's like slightly more relatable and has more of a quirky personality, who also has like a 6-figure house and like blah 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 blah. Like it's a little unserious. But I think like a lot of this aspirational content does kind of play into this like fear of being perceived sort of thing. Like, oh, like if you're perfect and you're doing everything, oh no, I just spilled more soda. It's like if you're perfect and like you're like perfect body, you're skinny, you have blonde hair, you're like super gorgeous, and you have this like aspirational life that's like so aesthetic, like you shouldn't be scared of like sharing yourself. But if you're like just a regular person, like I don't know, I do think some people share like too much though. I'm thinking about like, I don't even know about all of this, I don't even know the details, but I've been seeing all these people talk about this like Astravino stuff. Girl, the girls outside are beefing. They're beefing on the road today. I think there's like a line. I think some people are sharing way too much on here and are being perhaps a little too real and showing a little too much. It's been very interesting. Like even when I was setting up to film in this location, I saw somebody like walk by, and instead of like setting up my camera and stuff, I like sat and fiddled on my phone and acted like I was just sitting here, because God forbid somebody know that I'm sitting here filming a YouTube video. Like God forbid. It's so interesting that all of us are like, especially with me, like with the platforms I've built, like what I have like 21K on TikTok, I think like 6 or 7K on Instagram, and like 1,000 here. Like I am more visible probably than I ever been in my entire life. There are more people seeing me than they ever have been in their entire life. And I think that's like everybody at this point with like social media. I think for the vast majority of us, all of us are being consumed more than we ever have as social media gets more and more like visible. And like especially with TikTok, where like somebody can go viral just like for one little video, just like seemingly random, and you can go from like having like 20 followers that are just your friends to having like 200,000 overnight. You can be thrust into the public eye in such like a quick and like heightened way. I think we're all being seen more than we ever have. But like I was saying earlier, like this online stuff, it feels like not like fake, like it feels real, especially like the connections and like the people I've gotten to know and stuff. Like it's not that I like don't value it and it doesn't seem like real, but like being seen on here, being seen by y'all is so much less scary than like sitting in this park and seeing people see me film, rather than you watching a video knowing that I had to sit up and film it. Like, I don't know. It's very, very bizarre. And I'm curious if anybody else feels this way too, especially if you're like someone that's posting online, because I'll watch videos of like people that I like little like vloggers or just creators and stuff. And I think a lot of them like do feel like similarly that there's like some level of like embarrassment or fear about like being perceived doing this sort of thing, especially like even filming in like my town. Like I don't really film like where I live, one, because I don't want y'all showing up to my apartment. I don't want to be perceived in that way. I'm like not someone who like lives in a place that's like super glamorous either, so even like the concept of like filming in my area seems a little silly. My like TikTok feed lately has been like feeding me up all of these like, it's mostly like food influencers that are from my city. It always is like such a jump scare. Not to like knock anything they're doing, like they're doing great content and I'm happy for them, but like it feels bizarre like seeing like influencers from here, like content creators from here. I think so much of that is just so like affiliated in my mind with like, you know, like Chicago and LA and New York and like these places that are like more culturally relevant. I'm like, Oklahoma influencer is wild to me. That like doesn't like make sense in my mind and doesn't register. But side point, I don't know. I was also watching this interview with Tyler the Creator earlier today, and I'll put a link to it below if I can find it again. This is also part of the reason why I wanted to go outside and film today too. He was talking about the album Call Me If You Get Lost, and like the motivations behind that and like what made him want to film that, and just talking about how like he wanted to go like actually like live his life and then like share his life experiences. And like that's what I want to do here. I want to like, get on here and share my life experiences. But he made like a really good point that might seem like obvious, but he's like, I am going out and doing these things and I'm telling them like I see them. I'm telling people like what car I drive and what clothes I wear and what I ate and where I like to go, and like actually like living life so that I have something to say. And that's like really what I wanted to go outside too, and like just like interact with the world and touch grass or concrete or whatever I'm on right now. Like I do think I am someone who like, not always, I'm not gonna sit here and like act like I'm just like this like hikikomori, like I don't leave my house ever, because that's not true. But like I'd be cooped up in my house sometimes, and then like it comes to like make a video and I'm like, oh, I don't know what to talk about. I'll just talk about like whatever is happening on like the internet or whatever. And like it's great. I like doing that, and I like analyzing the culture and adding my little like particular lens to things that are in like the online cultural zeitgeist. But I'm like, also if I'm not like out here touching grass and then reporting back on my findings of how the grass is, what value am I adding to this? So in a lot of ways it feels good and it feels very refreshing to like get outside. I feel like every time I like spend time outside like absorbing the sun, it's like my brain chemistry resets and I suddenly feel like so much better about things. Also, quick Manny check. Hopefully that focused. Cute, right? But yeah, just wanted to touch grass, enjoy the sun, enjoy all of this stuff while I can. Hopefully climate change doesn't raise it all to the ground. There is a part of me that wonders like how much longer we're gonna have all of this stuff, how much longer we are able to touch grass. I've also like been reading like the Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents lately for a book club that I'm in, and like that's all a backdrop to this too. I'm like, I love that media. I love like Mad Max and stuff like that. I do not want to live in that. I do not want that to be my reality. Like, yeah, I feel like I've said enough today. I feel like I've rambled. I accomplished what I wanted to. We filmed outside, we filmed in public, we were perceived by strangers, and it was great. And I'm enjoying this and I'm having a wonderful time. And I hope to do this more. So let me know, how are you? How's it going? How do you feel about being perceived? Have you been touching grass? If you haven't, I'm challenging you to touch grass. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said at the beginning, if you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a like, because that helps me out quite a bit. And if you want to come yap with me every single Sunday, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because I upload at least once a week, sometimes more. I will catch you in the next episode. Bye.